And welcome back to the Link to the Past playthrough. Now we're in the Dark Tower. The first house in the Dark World.
I think we got that already.
So anyways, this is where the game starts to pick up quite a bit, as opposed to earlier sections. Like most things in Dark World, it's a good little introduction. And this is actually like the most linear the game's going to get, in the Dark World at least, because this is the only dungeon you have to do first as mandatory, and after this you can choose between a bunch of different dungeons.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is a good thing, because some of the other dungeons are pretty merciless.
Very true. Though in this dungeon, though, I really get lost.
Yeah, I think this dungeon, it does a good job kind of, like, showing you what's coming, because there's a lot of things you have to be ready for. There's a lot of different things. Enemies do a lot more damage, it's bigger, and it's a lot easier to get lost, harder to figure out, which I like. I think it's better that way.
And so this is actually not the way you're supposed to be going, but it's a cool little side path, I suppose.
The way I try to do it, I was trying to go around, trying to just get pretty much all the keys, because probably the biggest thing about this dungeon is you can end up taking a lot of different ways to go find out you need keys. So I was just trying to make sure that didn't happen. It's probably the best way to avoid getting lost. You just have keys to keep going. But yeah, I remember when I first played this game, actually a couple of times when I played this game, this dungeon gave me a lot of trouble. I would always forget where to go.
And yeah, you should definitely be careful with those jellyfish. You kind of lucked out because they stopped electrifying, or stopped producing its electrical field. But if you hit it with your sword or a physical attack, when it's still, I guess, conducting electricity, it'll shock you.
Yeah. I think that's why
these red ones actually divide into 3 when you hit them, so also be careful with that.
Yeah, I just try to avoid them most of the time. I don't even try to deal with them.
When you get the hook shot later on in the game, it's actually an easy way to take them out, but yeah, they're also pretty easy to avoid.
I'm just very compulsive when it comes to it, and I always kill every enemy that I see.
I would usually be like that, especially in like the 3D games. But 2D games are harder, so I usually avoid enemies unless I need to fight them, or if I feel like killing them.
Yeah, this is actually the final 2D Zelda, isn't it? Or no, wait, 4 Swords and
Oh
Cap.
no, dude.
No.
And Adventures, 4 Swords, there's
Link's
technically the DS games.
And these walls to the left are a good example of walls that look like you can break them, but that you actually can't break them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they tried to give it away by having a giant set of cracked walls.
Yeah, but just use that sword trick I talked about earlier, and that'll be a good way to tell what is and what isn't. And also just kind of pay attention to how the walls are set up, so it's usually a very good indicator.
Yeah.
And so now, what are you doing? You're going for the item, right?
No, I'm actually, like I said, I'm trying to pretty much get all the keys in one go. That way I could just pretty much finish off the rest of the dungeon. Went the wrong way. Now I think I'm going for the big key.
Big key. Oh.
And okay, you blocked that shot.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess it's because the shield is kind of small. You kind of have to get used to where the shield is as opposed to your character. But most of the time, I don't really worry about it. If I take the hit, I just take the hit. It wouldn't have bothered me if I got hit. I just would have went through with it.
You know, that's kind of ironic now I think about it. Who would think to put a key inside a chest?
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's kind of weird, especially when you consider that's like a staple for the game.
Yeah. What should we put in his chest? I shall place a key. What? That doesn't make any sense. You're right. So I shall go ahead and place a key inside his chest that requires a key. or an item in his chest requires a key. That's only in this game, though, right? Where you need the big key to actually open up the weapons.
Yeah.
What sort of entries?
Oh, forgot about that. It's been a while since I played that game.
Yeah.
It's a game that sorely needs to go to Nintendo Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing. I always enjoyed playing. I thought it was really fun, but I never really was able to play with people because Nintendo had that stupid gimmick where you need 4 GBA connector things to the GameCube, stuff like that.
It took a while. I finished it though. I have it all. And I have no life.
And so another thing, those 3 little henchmen that you just saw, they can actually be kind of annoying if you're unfamiliar with them. What they do is they follow the pattern, or they mirror your movements. So you're supposed to hit them with your arrows, and the green ones are not that bad. It's pretty easy to hit them. But the red one you got to be careful with, because if you start facing it and it faces you, then it shoots fire at you. So a way to attack it is to actually shoot your arrow, and since the arrow has a slightly delay, you have to time it to where your arrow hits the red guy, like he walks into your arrow. So it's a helpful little hint.
Yeah, I could get back on the game and stuff as well. Did you realize you were going the wrong way? Because I saw you went into that room and then you just immediately went for the magic mirror.
Yeah, I guess it's been a little while since I played it. I just ended up going the wrong way, so I just used the magic mirror trick. I don't think I've used it too much from this point, but I think it's really useful, especially if the path you need to go ends up being a dead end. That way you can just go back to the beginning and kind of makes everything go by a little bit faster.
Those creatures there shooting fire really remind me of the dinosaurs from Chocolate Island, Super Mario World.
They look a little bit like the dongos. Except you don't have to actually use bombs to kill them.
Yeah. They really, oh my god, they really actually clone the 3D world.
But yeah, Nintendo tends to reuse, or basically use some enemies from different games and use them to influence other games. For instance, in Super Mario World and Choco Island, the Lost Forest is actually the same layout as the Lost Forest in Zelda 1. And I think it's like influenced by the Lost Forest in this game too.
Well, now we got the magic hammer. Don't really see the difference between it and a regular hammer, but it's apparently magic. Alright.
Hammer! Magic hammer. We'll be seeing that tomorrow.
Oh, if one thing, it allows you to kill innocent turtles.
Well, if they're innocent, they do a lot of damage. So.
That touch damage.
And this room seems like it'd actually be a really useful place to grind rupees in the Dark World.
Well, I mean, I have
the
money with that rupee trick, so I don't really need to use it. But one thing that always caught me off guard was every time I see this room, I always thought it was just like an extra room just to get rupees. And then you find out there's a key in there. So that threw me off a lot for a long time.
That always threw me off. I would always get lost, and same thing, I would forget that had a key in it.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this is kind of bugging me. The fact that you keep skipping that previous treasure chest, which I'm assuming is a compass.
I think it is the compass, which is why I keep skipping over it.
And now the fuck was given about the compass.
Sorry, if I feel like I don't need it, which I usually don't, so I don't usually look at the map in this game. I don't go for it.
It helps you find out not a single fuck.
Wow, these guys are merciless.
Yeah. And that's probably the main reason I hate this, because they follow you like that. So in a room like this, where you have to jump in, jump back, you kind of have to trick them to go the other way.
These are kind of cool looking little statues. Are they supposed to be based off the knights, or? It's kind of weird that they would create a sprite like that detailed and not actually use it for an enemy. I mean, I guess it's little details like that kind of increase the atmosphere a little bit, but it just seems a little weird.
The game certainly has a lot like that. I mean, actually, it is weird that they detail. There's a lot of stuff that's, you know, has like in statue form, but there's also enemy versions of them, like the statue right there on the right.
Yeah, there's an enemy form of the eyeball statue, so I mean, it seems kind of weird. It's just an unused sprite.
Maybe you intended to or something, but
You know, when I first played this as a little kid, I never really understood what those statues are like the ones we're looking at right now. Kind of thought it was just like a random thing sitting in a chair. At least that's what it looks like.
kind of like the king sprite and whatnot.
And now it's time to play whack-a-mole. What are those things supposed to be anyways?
They're turtles, I guess.
No, it's kind of like the,
Oh. Yeah, you know, I have no idea.
They're prototype diglets, there we go.
They're creepy as hell looking, though.
God, what did that turtle ever do to you, Link? You've been hanging around Mario far too often.
Hey, maybe he's allergic to turtles.
That's why you use the hammer, because you can't jump on them. That all makes sense.
Oh.
That actually explains a whole lot.
The one thing that's actually kind of weird about the turtles, I guess they have this sense of danger, because after you flip them over, if they flip back, they start moving really fast.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
And that's pretty dramatic how, I don't know if it's just turtles that I just noticed it on, or every enemy, but when they die, they explode and then create a skull and crossbones, as if, you know, exploding wasn't dramatic enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, sometimes you can't tell if it's dead. You have to see an indicator that'll really let you know.
And now, it is time for me to explode. My people need me. Oh yeah, Greg, and in case you didn't know, you're about to die.
Yeah, I caught that. Sorry. So this, yeah.
You're dead. Oh, no, never mind.
This boss tripped me up a lot the first couple of times I played this game too. I always think this is probably, I consider this one of the harder bosses. If not
because the amount of hearts you're going to have at this point, typically.
If it's not for the damage, just because after you remove its mass by hitting with the hammer enough, it starts moving really fast. Since it moves kind of randomly, it's really easy to get hit.
There's also, it can be really easy to tell to not tell if you're actually hurting it or not because of the sound it makes when you're hitting it. It's actually pretty deceptive.
Damn.
Oof.
I'm free! Free from the bottle! Wait, you can actually escape from the bottle. Wait. I look at, like, later games, like Wind Waker, you see the fairies crying, but if they can escape when Link dies, then why don't they all escape?
That's a good question.
Magic?
And now it's time for him to explode.
I think that's more than an explosion. He's still going. That lasted a while.
Yay! We got a diamond thingy, crystal, whatever. Wait, no. So we won't get rich then.
So what I like is that, you know, every time you defeat or finish a palace and you rescue a maiden, they give you a bit of story. Whether it be about the world you're in, the Triforce of Ganon, so I think that's kind of cool.
So, I mean, you know, blah, 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 again, wants to take over the world, blah, 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 stop it, blah, blah, blah. Save us.
You know, now I think about it, this is like the only person I've seen that's normal in the Dark World. These princesses. Everyone else is like deformed. There's no humans in the Dark World.
Yeah.
I think if they were affected, they'd probably be bunnies too, or other stuff or whatever, I suppose.
And, you know, it makes you wonder why Link was a bunny.
That's his inner creature, the formidable bunny.
Oh, oh shit, we don't want to fuck with that bunny.
Well, it makes sense. Bunnies are like typically the most villainous things in video games, as we've seen in a couple other games. I think it's heavily inspired by Monty Python. And once again, Ganon, I'm sorry, not Ganon, Ganon's one of the most narcissistic villains in the Zelda universe, creating statues of himself.
We see Ganon does it too. I guess it's more prominent now since we see his statues all over the place.
So at this point now, with the hammer, we can now actually access a heck of a lot more of the Dark World, that's to say.
Yeah, now that you get the hammer, pretty much everything's open to you. You go pretty much anywhere.
There you go. So we're gonna. I'm sure you're not going to the second dungeon already that you're gonna be heading off to. So where are you heading to right now?
The plan is to get the last medallion, and then start getting a couple more items, like the double magic and the flute. But I got a little lost and ended up going to a couple other places.
And so, that little scene right there, he teleported to the wrong place, but that little rock you saw in the light world is actually one of the popular gimmicks that they introduce once you get into the dark world. So, one of the main gimmicks here is you can teleport from the dark world to the light world at will with the mirror. But, when you're in the light world, the only way to go back to the dark world is either through Ganon's castle, certain rocks that you can lift up and that have portals in them, or the portal you created. So yeah, throughout various places in the overworld map, you'll see like little hints and like little unique places where you'll have to manipulate going through using the portal and the mirror.
Yeah. One of the things that I do actually like, because they wanted to try to stop it so that you don't get lost, or don't get lost easily, is if you're in the light world, if you go back to Hyrule Castle, the gate that you have to go through in order to get there will automatically transfer you to the dark world.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look at the map, you can see where you left your portal in case you may have forgotten where it was.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I didn't want to comment on the fact that earlier, when you were stopping for a second, there was that tree that was just staring right at you, and he followed you around.
Oh, yeah. You know, I always thought that there was, because I used to get lost a lot in this game, but it always seemed like the trees, some of them can talk to you, and some of them, if you butt into them, they shoot bombs at you. So it's kind of weird. You find out the dark world's a lot more fucked up.
Right there, see that tree. It's not the hills have eyes, the trees have eyes. I'm a tree. Oh, okay then.
Why don't you make like a tree and split?
Oh god.
Or why don't you make like a tree and leave?
Or I mean, in his case here, since
The point is,
don't
it's
have
a
bombs.
bad joke.
And that's the joke. Wait.
And so yeah, like you saw the little formation there. When you're in Dark Road, keep an eye out for like little unique little land formations, because typically that's a good place to go ahead and explore and go ahead and try and transfer a light world.
And now to get one of the best items in the game. Let's just set things on fire. Fuck you, Bert.
Alright guys, we'll see you in the next part.